What apps do you use to edit your videos? I've just watched so many Korean dramas. Girl, I feel you. What if they don't like me anymore because... Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today, I asked you guys some questions on Instagram to do a little Q&A session. And if it wasn't for my finals, I would have had this done earlier, so I apologize. But today, we're going to be doing a little Q&A and a get ready with me. And so without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So I already tried to do this once, but that day was just crazy and I had finals, and so I kind of postponed it. So this video was supposed to go out a little bit earlier. I don't know why every time I plan to do a talking video, I get like canker sores, so that's why I might sound like I'm speaking differently. But I'm going to twist it up and clip it in with this clip that I have. This one's from YesStyle and I've been obsessed with it. It's just so easy to like clip up, and I don't even use hair ties anymore. But so these questions will be in like any order. I have different questions that are like, some are very like serious and some are more like lighthearted, but we're just gonna get right started. First question is, do you work along with school? So I do work along with school. Luckily I've been able to work since last year, I guess, with school, and it's really weird because everything is kind of clicked together after I took this one specific course about Chinese migration, and then I ended up working with the teaching team and the professor. So I'm very lucky to have them, and it's weird because all my life I didn't know that I would be able to work in something related to my major, and I also didn't plan to. But actually after working with them, I think I kind of found like a new passion towards my studies, and it's really helped me like enjoy what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Question number 2 is favorite food and hangout spots in Vancouver. I kind of like forgot all the places that I've been going to, but I think definitely Sushi Mera is one of like our favorites, especially with like Ryan and then my friends. We love going to Sushi Mera. It's super good, and I guess more on the affordable end of sushi. That's also really good. Another hangout spot that we like going to, or like study spot, would be Mr. Mustache, especially the Burnaby location. I think that one is really good. And then other than that, I don't really hang out outside. Like if I ever have to see my friends or that kind of stuff, pre-COVID, I would just go to their house. But now that we can't, everything is just online. My advice for students attending uni next year. I really hope that you guys get to experience university in person, especially if you're in the first year, but I don't know how that's going to go next year. But I think my advice would just be to like try out everything. Even if you don't think you like something, or like you just have a friend that's going like, hey, do you want to try this with me? Think before saying no. I think especially for me, it's very easy for me to just reject things because I think I'm not good at it, or I think I won't like it, or I think like people like, I don't know, like judge me or something. But first and second year should both be spent on exploring what you like, and that is in both academic and non-academic things. I think like you don't really like, I feel bad saying this, but from personal experience of having basically finished university now, I only have one course left. I think the first and second year, you can just take those years to explore yourself, and you don't have to like tie yourself down to a certain study or a certain group of friends or a certain like hobby. There's so much time to just explore what you like to do. A lot of people graduate and they end up not even doing the same thing that they did in university, and so yeah, just don't tie yourself down. Have fun. University should be fun. And yeah. K-drama recommendations. Oh, I feel like I can go on forever for this one because I've just watched so many Korean dramas in my life, and it's honestly hard to like try and remember all of them again. But if I were to think of the ones that I finished recently, I know everyone was obsessed with you know, like Crash Landing, Itaewon Class, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. I honestly didn't like Monarch, I forgot what it's called, but the one with Lee Min-ho, I did not like that one as much as I wanted to, just because the cast and everything was so like, it was just so like, it seemed like a really good cast, and it is a good cast, but the story itself, I was just kind of like, what is happening? But I guess it's still pretty good. But like besides those really popular ones, the ones that just finished or I watched in the past few months that I would really recommend are Lies After Lies. I might butcher the titles because I can't remember them correctly, but I'll write them out. So Lies After Lies, that one's really good. Oh my god, what else? Right now there's True Beauty that's on, and I'm really excited to watch that. That should be really good, but it's not like it's more of just like the typical teen drama type of drama, but oh my goodness. Oh, Hi Bye Mama was also really heartbreaking and really good. I might just list out some over here for you guys to see because I can't think on the top of my head, but yeah. The next question is, what monitor do you use for editing? So I actually don't use, well, I have a monitor connected to my desk, but I don't use it that much for editing just because I like editing on my laptop. It's just a personal habit. I'm really fast with the trackpad for some reason to like drag different stuff around and click things, so I like to use my laptop when I edit. But the monitor that I have right now is the BenQ GW2480, and I have a video about that if you guys are interested. I think it's pretty good. I am not super picky about the like specs of the monitor, just because especially if you go on like Amazon and you just type in like 24-inch or 27-inch, the first few ones that are top sellers should be good enough. So I think just budget wise I was like pretty picky, and then also I wanted it to be aesthetic, so I chose one with like a thin bezel, but that's the one that I have. Any idea on how to control hair fall? Honestly, my hair is pretty damaged. I have dyed it 2 or 3 times, and I've also used to do Japanese hair straightening because I wasn't born with very natural straight hair. When I was younger especially, it was very wavy and like frizzy, and so I was very insecure about that. But now I realized that like any hair is beautiful, but back then I was very insecure, so I damaged it quite a bit through like straightening and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I do get a lot of hair fall, but the routine that I've been having is that I have a brush that I really like. It's called the Tangle Teaser, and I will slowly comb through my hair after I wash it, and I try not to blow dry my hair if I don't have to. And because my hair is already damaged, it dries really fast. And other than that, I think the most important part is just when you're brushing, don't tug on your hair. I usually hold it like mid-length, and then I do the bottoms first, and then I'll do the top. I think getting trims is also really good, but my hair, I haven't cut it in like almost a year probably, but yeah, I should be getting a haircut soon. Alright, I was waiting for my skincare to dry, but now I'm gonna move on to my makeup. But tips for staying fit, honestly, I think for whatever lifestyle change you want to do, whether that's like eating healthier food or like exercising more, I think it's always important to remember the purpose behind it and have a good purpose for doing all these things. I used to be in a place where I wanted to do all these changes to my bodies because I wasn't happy with how I looked, and so no matter what I did, I ended up just not liking myself, even if I started exercising or started eating healthier. And so just remember that we're eating healthier, we're exercising to be happier, and yeah, so just go from there and do what you like. I think that's my favorite advice for staying fit. Like if you like walking, do walking. If you like running, do walking. If you like running, do running. But if you don't like those things and you just like stretching or doing yoga, you can do that instead. If you like going out and like doing sports, you can do that instead. Everyone has a different body, and so everyone also has a different like preference for things, so you don't have to copy other people and like how they stay fit and stay healthy, but just do what makes you happy. But in terms of like actual advice I can offer, I think drinking water is very important. And also I have a very like interesting rule about snacking. I have nothing against snacking, but grab as much as you need for snacking. I feel like in the past I've treated snacking sessions as like, this is my only chance to eat all this like chips, so I'm gonna eat as much as I can. But honestly, if you just break it up into the portion that you really need, you can always just go back to snack on it another day. And I found that I haven't been feeling as guilty about it if I just took as much as I needed. even now when I make instant noodle, it's weird, but I basically break my instant noodles in half, and it's like I'm not telling myself that I can't eat instant noodles, but when I do, I'm just eating a little bit to satisfy that like craving, and then the rest I'll just fill it up with something else that's like a little bit healthier. You know, like it's just those little changes to make. You don't have to cut out completely a certain food, because I think that's just depriving yourself of it, which makes you want it more. And so just give yourself a little bit, enough to like be satisfied, and then you can also just do something else to distract yourself. Okay, I need to move a little bit faster because I have so many questions. I love your videos and your content is always so fresh. How do you find inspirations? So my inspirations are drawn from whoever I like watching. So whenever I watch people, I don't just sit there and like watch, but I also sometimes would take notes of stuff or take screenshots of things that I want to try and like replicate myself. And I think the like creativity and the inspiration comes from how can I take this content that I enjoy watching and turn it into something that's my own. Because you're making something you enjoy yourself, I think that genuinity often comes through in your videos, and once you enjoy something, you would want to make it better as well. So yeah, I don't know, but thank you for that comment. I honestly don't think I don't know, I think my videos are just okay. Like, I don't know. Next question is, what apps do you use to edit your videos? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and photos. So I want to start with photos just because it's the easiest. Mostly just use Visco. I think I've been using that for like a few years now, ever since like high school. And then sometimes I would tune my like photos even more on Snapseed, because I think that's really good for basic editing. And then all my like aesthetic editing is on Visco. And then in terms of video editing, I think if I'm editing on my phone, I recently discovered the app VN, so I use that for TikTok, and then for my other videos, I mostly use Final Cut Pro or iMovie or Premiere. And I had to learn all of them because of just YouTube and also my work, which is why I use all of them. But yeah. How do you make your milk tea? So honestly, this recipe is probably not a proper one, but what I do is that I would take orange pekoe tea. I take 2 of them, and then I put some hot water on top of that, steep it for a little bit, just a tiny bit of hot water, enough to cover up the tea bags, and then steep it for like a few minutes, and then I add condensed milk into it, just 1 little teaspoon, and then melt that, and then I pour milk into it. So this is for hot milk teas. But it's really good. It's my go-to drink recently, especially in between my coffee days, because I don't want to drink coffee every day. So I drink some milk tea instead, or lemon fog. Okay, next question is favorite Korean actor and actress and favorite Korean drama. So when I first saw this, I had some time to think because there are just so many actresses and actors, and honestly I don't follow them too much. I think on the top of my head, I really like Lee Sung-kyung. She's an actress and she's super talented. Like, she can sing and like do everything, and I think her acting is just really good. And then for guys, I recently thought of Ji Chang-wook. I think he is like, not only is he like good looking, but I really like his dramas, and yeah. And then I think IU is also like, although she's like Korea's like favorite singer, she's one of my favorite actresses because I think she's really good at acting. Like, I don't know how to explain, but I'm just like always so shocked at her talents. But I'm actually thinking of like maybe doing a K-drama video, but then I would have to prepare quite a bit because there's so much to talk about. But let me know if you guys would be interested in that maybe. The next question is also to do with Korean stuff, but how did you learn Korean? And I really want to start learning. I think, well, I learned at school, so I can't really help you in that aspect where I don't really have a lot of resources that you can use for like online learning. But recently I've been using Duolingo, and I use it for I started using it for Japanese, but I just fell off the like train. But I started using it for Chinese just to brush up my Chinese skills. So I think Duolingo would be a pretty good app to learn. And then I also have tried Drops for Korean, and that one's pretty good as well. So I think nowadays there are so many apps you can use online, and I also really like watching Korean YouTubers. And so in terms of actually learning Korean, or not learning, but like listening to more Korean, I really like watching Korean Englishmen. And then my other favorite Korean YouTubers that are more just like lifestyle and beauty, and they also speak English, is Chondae and Dasha. Those are my favorite, and I think just like surrounding yourself with more Korean would really help you. I think I started learning because I already knew so much from Korean dramas, so I actually wanted to be like, hey, maybe I could learn this. And yeah. So next question is, how do you deal with insecurities and comparing yourself to others? Honestly, I've had my battles with this as well. I think especially in high school, like it's just very easy to, because we were never taught how to self-love. We were never taught what it means to not have self-love, and so discovering that on our own can be very scary. And oftentimes, I think especially girls, because we see so many other pretty girls and successful people on like the internet, like it's just easy to compare ourselves. But I think at the end of the day, you just have to really remind yourself that you are your own person. Like it shouldn't matter too much what other people do and how people think of you, because at the end of the day, you're just living for yourself. And I think that's something that I took, like it took me a while to really learn the value in just focusing on myself. The question is also very broad, like there's so many aspects of how you can overcome insecurities. But I think for me, it's like whenever I had an insecurity, and like I still do nowadays, but if it's to the point where it affects my everyday life, that's when I know that like, hey, I really need to stop what I'm doing and focus on myself so that this doesn't affect my life. But if it's just like minor insecurities, sometimes I'll catch myself like compare myself to other people, but at the same time I'm like, oh, I know that's not like my real self. Like I'm just doing that because my brain is bored. And so when it comes to those small things, it might be okay to let it go. But when it comes to the big things that you were comparing and the big insecurities, just I think taking time off and like addressing it is really important. And like everyone is on their own journey, so you don't have to rush through this. And honestly, I think insecurities teach us a lot, so we have so much to learn from just learning how to love ourselves. And just know that everyone has insecurities. Even if like you see someone and you think they're perfect, you think their life is perfect, everyone has their own battles. And so yeah, just like believe in yourself, you got this. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. But yeah. Okay, the next question is, how have your friendships changed since COVID? And honestly, I'm a pretty like introverted person, so I don't think my friendships have changed too much. If anything, I think we've gotten closer, but in a different way. I have to admit, I don't think I was the nicest person during COVID, but I think like whenever I get bored, I just bother my friends now, and I know that I need to stop and I just need to like find my own hobbies to do. But I think over COVID, a lot of people have started talking a lot more like deep. Like I've been having a lot more deeper conversations with people, and it's not even just my friends, which is very interesting and also I think is good. The next question is also to do with insecurities, but this one says, how to let go of insecurities, negative thoughts, or obsessiveness in a relationship. Girl, I feel you. It's hard, I just want to say, but you can definitely get there. I think the first thing to do might just be to remind yourself that like you aren't being bad by having these feelings. Like all these feelings are totally valid. Don't feel bad about yourself, but also like figure out what you can work on and like maybe together. And another thing that I really learned is that like all of this is very normal, even though it sounds bad. Like I've talked to other friends in relationships, and all these things about insecurity, negative thoughts, and obsessiveness, like everyone experiences it, so it's not like it's out of the ordinary or that it's something that you have to change immediately. But sometimes it might just be those things where you guys will overcome together with time. I think one of the messages that I really liked that I learned from somewhere is that you have to be creating new, better experiences to move on from past bad experiences. You can't just like expect to forget those like experiences, if that makes sense. You really have to work hard on creating newer ones and like better experiences so that like you start moving on in life. I don't know if that makes sense. Now I'm just like rambling, but I think time is very important in a relationship. It's kind of like baking something, maybe. I don't know, I'm just thinking randomly, but you know how like sometimes you just throw a bunch of things together and you don't know how it's gonna turn out and you have to go through that baking period? That's kind of like a relationship sometimes. Okay, next one. Advice on how to love or focus on yourself more in a relationship. I feel like I always have to work on this myself too, and I love this topic because it's so important. I think for a good like 1 or 2 years I've like lost myself within my relationship. I think it's very important to just remember that your significant other will be there when you're gone, if that makes sense. Like I used to be like, oh my god, I can't go do my own things because I just want to be next to my boyfriend and I want to talk to them, or like what if they don't like me anymore because I'm too focused on myself. But I think after you have a certain talk with them and you find out like their boundaries and yours and like what you're doing that's like overstepping the line of being like too clingy or like too dependent on them, like you will realize that they want you to find your own hobbies too, and they want you to spend your own time. Not that they're not pushing you away, they just want you to be your own person. And I think it's just very important to trust the relationship and know that your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your significant other, they will still be there when you go off and explore your own life. I guess that was something that was very hard for me to understand. Favorite places to buy clothes. I'm looking for an oversized cardigan. My favorite places to buy clothes are Uniqlo. I have quite a bit of basics from Uniqlo. They never go out of like season, I guess. I don't know, I just really like Uniqlo basics. And then I like pieces from Garage and Hollister, which makes me sound like a teen, but I actually check these websites like quite frequently, and I like take note of all the trends and the prices. And so when there's like one specific item that I've been looking for a long time that goes on sale, I will just grab them. So that's for Garage and Hollister. And I'm starting to try and get into like more adult clothes, so Aritzia, but the price I still can't accept it right now. And then I also really like Oakenford, but similar to Aritzia, it's more on the pricier side, so I don't own that much items from them. But if you are looking for an oversized cardigan, I would definitely recommend Oakenford, or go browse around other Korean online shopping websites. Our next question is, how do you deal with FOMO? Dude, I always feel FOMO, it's so bad. I think now I'm just starting to tell myself, like, if I really feel FOMO, like the fear of missing out, then there's nothing too bad about asking them like, hey, like, can I go next time? Or like trying to invite yourself. I know that sounds bad, but a lot of times I think it's just like missed opportunities, or maybe like I've always had the fear of like, what if I just like rejected hanging out once and they never will like invite me again? But if you honestly just have those conversations with your friends or your colleagues or anyone, I think like hopefully they'll be open enough to talk to you about it. And so if you really have like a deep fear of missing out, like a conversation won't be too bad. And I don't know, I think sometimes it was just like mistimings or like misunderstandings. Some people might think you're busy, but you're actually not. But like no one would know unless you have that conversation with people. And so yeah. Favorite boba or bubble tea, I guess. My favorite, I'm very basic. You can't go wrong with a milk tea with pearls, but it has to be a good one. And so I think Coco has really good milk tea with pearls. And I love the Earl Grey milk tea from Mr. Mustache. And then I've also been getting into real taro fresh milk. I think that's really good as long as the taro is not super sweet. hair care tips. I think hair care would just be the most important thing is to figure out what hair type you have, because depending on what you have, you would use different products. And so for me, I have like dry, damaged hair, and so I use a moisturizing shampoo and conditioner. I also have different hair masks that I use when I really need to like save my hair. And then my favorite thing is to use hair oil, and I'll like put a picture up of the one I use. It's so good, and I'm almost done, so I'm kind of sad. But the next question is how to choose the right lingerie. And honestly, I think it really depends on your priorities. So for me, I prioritize comfort and like quality, and so a lot of mine are from Uniqlo. Their seamless underwears are the best. They're like perfect for like periods too. I don't know if this is getting too TMI, but they are just, I think they're just my all-around like favorite pair of underwear. And then in terms of like bras and stuff, I don't spend that much time thinking too much about it, because I think I only really own Calvin Klein, but that's just because like we have an outlet store and they go on sale quite a bit. So I just have Calvin Klein, but I actually don't really prefer wearing bras. I like wearing bralettes, and my favorite ones have to be these ones from Aritzia. So I hope that answered all your questions, and for the ones I left out, I personally messaged them just because they were kind of more time sensitive, and so I couldn't get those questions in time to be uploaded, so I just messaged them instead. I hope you guys have happy holidays and a happy new year. It's the end of December very soon, and so I'll see you guys next time.